Nice wardrobe budget.
Yes,
Always
he
got a
does.
fresh
Football,
black tank
yep.
top. Except Stephen A. I feel like sometimes he has two mouths, one ear. But Green Bay currently 11.5-point underdog. I wish you could see his face for Sunday night's road game against Buffalo. If that holds, it'll be the first time Aaron Rodgers is a double-digit underdog in his career, Doggy. Can the Packers keep it close with this Bills team?
I think they actually will. I think Green Bay, everybody's throwing dirt on them. They obviously, as you said last week with Heineke, they had a bad loss in Washington. They got a bad call. They had a fumble return touchdown. They caught a defensive hold. It was a spotty
true
call.
Packers fan.
Yeah. So there is a chance they still could have won a game. But here's the one thing I will say. 7 games is not too early. Everybody's making a big deal. I got plenty of games to go. 7 games is, that's a good 35% of the season.
Yeah.
It's not the first couple games. So it's time for Green Bay. They're way back in Minnesota. Green Bay now, it's time to show up and play some better football. They only ran 38 yards rushing last week against Washington. Buffalo off a bye week. At home, Sunday night, Orchard Park. It's got the recipe of 45-10. Watch the Packers come out and play tough. Watch the Packers come out and hear all the noise from this quarter right in front of me, and they have no chance. They're out of it. That season's over. And watch Green Bay out there play a very competitive, very intriguing game. Might lose. Allen's great, but I think the Packers will be right there on Sunday night.
I feel you on that. Let me state this for the record on national television. Packers going to get their ass kicked.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're going to get your ass kicked. I said it. I'm saying it loud and clear. You're going to get beat down. Oh, yeah. Now, here's the good news. The 4-game losing streak that's inevitable, it'll end because the following week you got Detroit. So, the bleeding will stop. It's just going to last another week or so, okay? That's just the way it goes. Aaron Rodgers needs to understand for the first time in pretty much his career, regardless of the struggles that we may have, we have no reason to believe in this franchise. Zero. The reality is that they've underachieved. We can say that. But you've got receivers running wrong routes. We've got receivers dropping passes. We got Aaron Rodgers making incredible throws 1 minute, doing inexplicable things the next. And we got a defense that's not shabby, but in the same breath, they just don't seem to be on the same page. They don't seem to be as elite as we expected them to be, A. And B, more importantly than anything else, they don't seem to believe in this offense any more than the rest of us do right now. And then we get to Matt LaFleur. I personally am sick and tired of this man getting the pass. Now, I will say this to you, and I'll say this, Dougie, just so you know what my position is, and I've stated this on many, many occasions. Even though there have been times where I have lamented the paucity of black coaches in the National Football League, there's white coaches that got screwed over by the Cliff Kingsburys of the world, and this Matt LaFleur and him getting the job. This is a 27th ranked offense. As an offensive coordinator, he got the job when his offense was the 27th ranked offense. We talk all of this stuff about what Green Bay is building, but he's ridden the shoulders, and they've ridden the shoulders of Aaron Rodgers for far too long. Now you got receivers that can't catch the ball. Why didn't you prioritize keeping Davante Adams? I'm going to bring this up every chance I get until the cows come home. I know that Davante Adams left. I know that he has a relationship with Derek Carr dating back to college. I understand that. What I'm asking people to take into consideration is the rift that existed between the Packers organization and Aaron Rodgers for years, to the point where Aaron Rodgers spent at least a couple of years contemplating publicly whether or not his future was indeed in Green Bay. That trepidation, that uncertainty is what assisted in Davante Adams' willingness to walk out the door. So even when Green Bay reportedly was willing to match the dollars that he got offered from the Raiders so there would be no loss financially, he said to hell with this because the situation didn't appear as stable. If I am an elite quarterback in the National Football League, the likes of Aaron Rodgers, who I believe as a talent is the greatest quarterback I've ever seen in my life, okay, as a talent, not resume, but as a talent, to allow Davante Adams to walk out the door as arguably the best receiver in football, and he was your primary weapon, that is the indictment. If Davante Adams was there right now with Aaron Rodgers, you wouldn't be having these kind of problems. Not these kind of problems. You might not be ideal. You might not be completely in sync. You might not be perfect. But you wouldn't have these kind of problems that they're having right now. They brought it on themselves. This is their comeuppance, and it's going to be punctuated now against Buffalo this weekend.
You said a lot that's interesting. I agree with you on LaFleur. Overrated, 2 playoff game losses at home. he is very overrated.
And the same problems. You play
The special teams and all that
everything
nonsense.
that you this thing, Doggy. The last comment about this. The very thing that you complain about. This is what you know about Matt LaFleur. The very thing that you complain about him at the beginning, you're still complaining about him in the
100%.
end. He doesn't change it.
100%.
Doesn't change it.
I don't disagree with you there.
Doggy, what's the biggest issue with them?
Well, the one thing I want to say about Davante Adams, the Raiders are 2-4. So Davante Adams left. He hasn't exactly knocked them out either. Pushing photographers out of the way after the Kansas City game.
That's because Derek Carr's throwing him the football, not Aaron
Well, I
Rodgers.
mean, that's his fault. He
agree.
left Rodgers to go to Carr. Why would you ever do that?
I agree.
Why would you do that?
Because
you're
the
not-
money's the same. What difference does it make?
Because
Maybe you're
the
not
friction
happy.
because he wasn't the friction between Aaron Rodgers and the organization. That's why I brought that up.
Is he happy now? Is he happy at 2-4 in the last place in the end of the AFC West?
He's not happy, but he didn't anticipate that before he left. It's a better situation.
We all did. We knew that was a mistake going to play for Carr when he left Rodgers.
Right.
You didn't pick them to make the playoffs.
You remember, he wasn't picking Carr over Rodgers essentially. He was saying that the friction that existed between Aaron Rodgers and Packers and the uncertainty with the long-term future of him in Green Bay played a role in his willingness to depart.
Stevie, they gave him 3 years, $150 million. Rodgers was going nowhere, and he still left. He should have stayed.
Now, listen. I hear where you're coming from with that, but I'm saying to you,
Might have been more than
if
football.
I've been there and I've seen the friction that exists, and I see how much Aaron Rodgers has waffled, I don't trust it for my long-term plans. That's why I blame Rodgers and the Packers for Davante Adams. I don't blame Davante Adams for as much as I blame Rodgers and the Packers for his departure to Vegas. I blame them because if you were more together as an organization, more on the same page, and then have Aaron Rodgers giving press conferences where he's detailing big time all the differences that he's had with y'all. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.